Am I a realtor telling you not to buy a house? Well, maybe I am. And if you watch the rest of this video, I'll tell you why. I'm Tyson Giesbrecht with eXp Realty in Edmonton, and I'm going to tell you why buying a house might not be right for you. So let's start from the beginning. I grew up just around Edmonton here, and I remember going beside my neighbors with my mom one night, and we were talking with the neighbor, and then we left. And as we left, I said to my mom, when do we get to see inside their house? And I think that's when it started. I've always been infatuated with houses, house plans. I drew a house plan when I was in high school, and I built that house with my family. My parents are still living there today. It's been something I've always been passionate about. And the other thing I've always been passionate about is people. I remember going out with my sister to go see some friends, and every night she would be the one dragging me away. She needed to go home and have some time by herself to rest and recharge. And I got recharged when I was with people. I love people and I love helping them out. And so what I'm trying to do is get you prepared to buy a house. Because the reality is this: I don't get paid unless I sell you a house. That's a fact. Until I sell you the house, I don't get any money. It doesn't matter if you hate the house, if you love the house, if it's too expensive for you at the top of your budget, if it's the cheapest house. I get paid to sell you a house. So am I really incentivized to give you the best house for you, or just sell you a house so I can move on to my next client? There are realities that are here that it does serve me well to help you out and help you have a great house for life, because I want you to keep coming back to me. I want you to send your friends and your family to me so that I can help them as well, because I'm here to help you, because I love people and I love helping them out. So I'm going to give you a few things that you might not expect when you go to buy a house. See, when you go to the bank, they're going to tell you, this is how much money we will give you for a house. That doesn't mean you can afford that. That means that's what they will give you. It's all a calculation. This is how much they have in debt. This is how much they are making a month. And this is how much they can afford. It's a very simple calculation. Everyone has slightly different numbers, but overall they'll give you the same kind of thing. Now, you hear it everywhere. Buying is cheaper than renting. And overall it is. If I'm a smart landlord, I'm going to take all of these costs in the house, including the mortgage, including all of these things we're going to talk about. I'm going to add a little bit extra on top in case something goes wrong with the house. And then that's how much I'm going to charge you. No real landlord is going to lose money on a house. And so you will, if you're renting the same place as you're buying, chances are your overall costs are not going to be that different. But let me tell you, there's a few costs they may not be telling you about that they are paying. Well, I guess you're paying them, but they are paying all these bills individually. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up on some of these bills that you can expect. So the first one we're going to talk about is taxes. There's a good chance as a renter, you're not the one paying taxes. It's all based on the percentage of what your house is worth. So the city of Edmonton actually has a really great calculator in the blog that I wrote about. So you put where you are in the city or where you want to be, the price of the home you want to buy, and it'll tell you the approximate taxes. Now, these can range anywhere from maybe $500 a year up to thousands and thousands of dollars a year. Again, all depending on the price of the house you buy. But that's something that you need to be prepared for. The next thing is insurance. You might have had tenant insurance when you were renting a house that covered all of your possessions in case of a loss through a fire or flood or anything like that. But I can promise you that insurance for your house is going to be more than tenant insurance by a long shot. So you need to be covered in case of a fire, in case of a flood, to replace the overall house if something happens to it. Where as a tenant, it's only the possessions in your house, and generally homeowners insurance covers the possessions in your house as well. So that's another thing that you need to keep track of. There's a calculator that almost every insurance company has. You can call them for free quotes. And again, just it depends totally on the house you have, and lots of little things in the house. Does it have a fireplace, and the risks associated with it? So they can maybe give you a general idea on what you can expect to pay, but that's a big bill you're going to be footing every month that you might want to pay attention to. The next thing is utilities. Now, this is a little more common for tenants to pay because it fluctuates month to month and tenant to tenant. So you may have had yours covered in your rent. You may have had one flat fee for your rent, and you don't think about the more times I shower and the hotter I keep the house, the more I'm paying every month. Now, again, there's so many variables with how much your utilities are going to cost, the efficiency at which your home is built. If you're in a condo, your utilities may be less for heat because you have all of these other units heating up your apartment as well. And it's not uncommon for those utilities to be put into your condo fees. So it's another thing to think about when you're going to buy a house is the utilities. If you come from maybe a 2-bedroom apartment and you're moving into a 4-bedroom home and you have a lot more square footage, maybe it's an older house, you may be shocked with how much the utilities are going to cost you every month if you haven't paid that before. And the last thing, probably the biggest thing, is maintenance. Maintenance is huge. Depending on the house you get, it can be a massive bill. And that's the value in the home inspection. In the home inspection process, you get to see, before you accept to buy the house, you get to see the condition of the house by a professional home inspector if you so choose. And that can include the condition of the furnace, hot water tank, if they notice any cracks in the foundation. That can be a huge bill to foot. So that can give you a really good heads up on maybe how much things are going to cost. But that's probably the biggest thing that you didn't have to deal with when you were a tenant. If the dishwasher broke or the furnace went out, you simply called up your landlord. They came and dealt with it. They foot the bill. You didn't have to deal with it. So it's a big thing to think about. You're responsible for the house once you buy it. So you will have to pay for any bills. And that's the major ones that you're going to see when you buy a house. Of course, there's a few more that you have to deal with, but those are the main ones. If you have any more questions about those, feel free to contact me. But this is what I'm trying to get you into. I want you to be educated on the process of home buying. I have a whole series going on right now about the home buying process. Let me know if you want all of that information. But I want you to be educated. I don't want you to buy a house and then suddenly your bills are way higher than you thought they were going to be. All of these extra costs are freaking you out. You thought it was just the mortgage, and that can be really scary when you get into a situation that maybe the margins were already tight, and then a spouse loses a job or something like that, and you unfortunately lose the house. And I don't want to see that happen to you. I want you to be prepared for what you're getting into. So again, if you have any questions, my name is Tyson Giesbrecht with eXp Realty. My number is 780-991-7617. All right, thanks. Have a good day.